Welcome to Wesley Heritage Discourse. Our guest today, on 5 Minutes interview, is a man that is passionate about the restoration of Methodism to its rightful place. A minister of the word and leader of worship, who is a prophetic voice to the nations. We introduce to you the General Secretary, Africa Methodist Council, a presbyter of the Methodist Church Nigeria, the Very Reverend Opeyemi Awur. He is currently based in Accra, Ghana with his family.
Welcome to the studio of the Wesley Heritage Discourse. And just like you have heard from the introduction, I have my guests already on the studio who will be speaking shortly over the question for today on this 5-minute interview. Let me bring my guests right away in on this 5 minutes interview session.
It has become a mixed entity in the sense that the church is an heavenly creation. The church of God, the ecclesia, is an heavenly creation. But sadly, the church we exist in is, how will I put it? It's run by men, and therefore, it now seems that you have issues of constitution, hierarchy, and standing orders and things like that, which has really sort of clamped down on people who really want to continue with the movement. And you want to say, why should that happen? Anything run by human beings, definitely will have its own faults. So I'll conclude this way. What are the characteristics of a movement? If you said, it's a movement, what are the characteristics? Or if we say want to restore Methodism to being a movement, what are the things we must see? I'll just mention a few, not that these are all that we must see. But the first thing you will see is radically transformed lives. And that's where John Wesley also started. Radically transformed lives. Then you'll find out that there's a renewed or fresh encounter with the Holy Spirit. Either people who had been sleeping before suddenly gets revived by the power of the Holy Spirit, or there's a totally fresh encounter which people now begin to follow. But usually it is by the Holy Spirit. It's not by any human institution. And then out of that kind of power and the zeal they receive, there's the willingness to share the new experience with other people. A kind of willingness which cannot be, put in a box. A kind of willingness which cannot be concealed. It just must flow out. Then the next thing is that there's a holistic approach to the growth of the disciples in the movement. And that is, you are looking at their spiritual life, you are looking at their economic life, and that's what John Wesley did. John Wesley was working mostly among the downtrodden, mostly among the people, but he was trying to look, as he was looking at their physical life and their spiritual life, he was also making sure their economic situation improved. Then there's also the unstoppable drive to empower and mobilize people of God into missions, into making sure that this good news is heard where it has not gotten to before. And finally, there's a focus on multiplication. And I'm deliberately looking at this on multiplication, not just addition, or multiplication and engaging new communities, engaging new people. And I think that's what I want to say now. But definitely, Methodism is a movement. It was never intended to be a church. And the better for us if we all can now have that movement mentality and leave church mentality. Church is an institution run by men with its constitutions and its hierarchy. But the movement is a work of the Spirit. And that's where I will conclude, if that will be enough for today.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful. And that is going to activate discourse on this topic. Your perspective that Methodism is a movement, and we'll really discuss that all along in the blog. And we do hope if there are other issues that is generated, we will do well to bring you on board again. Thank you for your perspective.